What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video I'm going to be giving my tips and tricks for Ghostface in Dead by Daylight. Now, I know a lot of people tend to watch this video long term, past even the day or the week that I put this video up, so I do want to just make it very clear. These tips and tricks are for Ghostface day one. This is when he officially becomes, available to the public. I'm only saying that because obviously I know that he can go through a lot of ups and downs, and will go through a lot of ups and downs in terms of balancing him, and some of the things I say, could be maybe fixed or patched or whatever going forward. So I just wanted to throw that out there real fast. So let's talk about Ghostface in general. I want to talk about the kind of killer that he is, obviously his stalking ability in general, and then I'm going to go over his perks and how to best use them. Now, Ghostface is not the fastest killer in the world. I truly believe in, and I know numbers will back me up with some of this. Some of the past 4 killers that Dead by Daylight has released, they've been extremely quick. Not all of them, but some of them have been very quick killers, and I don't exactly support the idea that Ghostface isn't a fast killer. He actually probably should be pretty fast if you go based off of the movies. He's a very fast-moving individual. That's what he does. Also with the terms of stalking. So you're not going to get people by just running after them. I mean, you're going to have to use your general Dead by Daylight abilities and how you play the game in general. You have to be able to catch a survivor. You have to be able to know how to look for a survivor, when to kind of camp in a way or stay around a hook to try and catch other people. You're going to have to do whatever tactics you normally do, but in terms of just flat out chasing people, Ghostface isn't meant for that, and you're not really going to get very far by just chasing people with him. Now, his stalking perk, obviously this is how they want you to play as Ghostface, and to be honest, I'm not loving it. It's not the greatest ability for a killer in the world, but it obviously is a mix of like a Michael Myers thing, and obviously when you get the stalk all the way up on a person, it's a one hit down. Okay, so they could obviously they could be fully healed. They could normally take 2 hits to knock them down, and you only need to do it 1 time. Now, the best time to do this is obviously when they're on a generator, and this is even what the trailers for Dead by Daylight for Ghostface have shown. Is the best way I think to do this is to try and get people when they're doing generators, or just generally not looking, healing, have their backs turned to you. But you can use this on the fly. Now, there's abilities and things you can add on items that can make you kind of move a little bit faster when you stalk, because when you stalk, it really does slow down immensely. Really, you can't really chase and stalk. Although if somebody's running away from you in a straight line or putting a pallet down in front of you, that is a really, really good opportunity to also stalk them. Again, you have to just choose a moment when they're not staring you directly in the face. Although this ability has gone through a lot of buffs, and in terms of the day 1 buff, or what they did at the very end of that beta testing, is they made it a lot harder for the survivors to stop your stalking, which I really liked. I watched a lot of Omracker play this game in that beta phase, or in that when the test servers, and how easy it was for people to just knock you out of it. Now they have to look at you for a very long period of time, not extremely long, but more than just quickly glance at you, and they have to see a majority of your body in order for them to deactivate it. And I found that even if a person that you're stalking, even if they're kind of facing directly at you, you can still get quite a bit off on them, and it gives you warnings. This game gives you warnings. So if somebody is looking at you to stop that stalking ability, you're going to see white arrows pointing in the direction that person is looking. Now, again, day 1, from what I experienced in playing Ghostface, I still do believe that if you're on a hook, you count as like a person with eyes. So I believe I did this once where I had the stalk on, and then it knocked me out of it, and I turned around, or I followed the arrows of who was doing it, and the only person there was a person on the hook. Now, I know that was still a thing back in the test servers. I thought that was taken out, but in terms of day 1, I believe that's still the case. So you have to watch out for that. You have to watch out for people looking at you, but again, they've made it a little bit more generous, where even if they are staring at you, you can probably get half a circle filled of the stalk on the person. And again, very, very important to do this. This is a key tactic, just like the plague with like the Vile Purge, how you can really use it to knock a person down, to have a hit, right? That counts as a hit. Ghostface, same thing. You're really wasting him as a killer if you're not using the stalk, because you can make 2 hits into 1 hit. So anytime you have these killers, that there's an ability or something about them that can minimize how many times you have to hit the person, you always have to try it. Now you can still, again, just go around doing 2 hits to the person, but if you can get that stock off on them, then you have to do it. Now, the perks, and I'm going to go over all 3 perks that are, for Ghostface. Personally, I only use one. I do not love the perks. I think they could have done a lot more, creative things with Ghostface that they chose not to do. That's fine. The perks, honestly, again, only one of them are really good for me, but it definitely depends on your style of playing. I'm not really one that focuses on the obsession, and obviously this is in Furtive Chase, which is, in my opinion, the least productive, or the one I have the most trouble playing, and one that I really would never put on Ghostface out of his 3 perks. But this is the perk that jumps around obsessions and adds tokens, and it lowers your terror radius. Again, anything that has the tokens and jumps obsessions, there's a couple perks in this game for a lot of killers that have to do with tokens, you getting tokens. A lot of them have to do with the obsession, and as long as they're around, it increases this or decreases that. There's quite a few of those out there. And to be quite honest, I'm just not really a player that focuses on that. Maybe I should be. Maybe that it's a thing that if you're that kind of player, it would really help you. That it just isn't a perk that does much for me. Now, I'm All Ears is the perk that I used when I first started playing Ghostface, but to be honest, once you get all 4, perks that you're allowed to use, and once you start unlocking some better ones, even like a Deer Stalker, Thrill of the Hunt, Iron Grasp, and there's so many perks, and there's so many really great combinations that people have put together. I'm All Ears, I feel like just kind of falls out of touch with me, but it is a solid perk. This is the one where if anybody performs a rushed action past a certain distance from you, you get to see them. And people do this. I don't think they do it that often to honestly make the perk worth it, but even when I did do this in the very beginning, the first couple matches I played as Ghostface, you do get it. You get it around once a match, I think, probably on average, that somebody will do a rushed action and you get to see them. Decent, but again, if you're using the stalking and you're doing that, I feel like there's just other perks that can be put in that just make it better. Again, there's a lot of combinations out there with these perks that people have already come up with, and if you're using the ability, I think you can be a little bit more selective on the perks you're choosing. And finally, there's Thrilling Tremors. Now, this one I truly believe is the best one from Ghostface. This is one that I, again, used from the very beginning, and one that I feel like, even with the combinations out there, I will continue to use, because you can really use this. This is a multi-dimensional ability. This is the one that when you pick up a survivor, all generators that are not being worked on are locked, and they appear white on your screen. So if you're being observant and you're watching the map, you can tell which generators are currently in use, because if there are generators still being worked on, they will appear in red. So when you have that survivor, obviously the biggest thing is to be able to hook them, right? So you don't want to take too much of your own focus off of hooking that person. But as you're hooking, make sure you're looking around the map, in your peripheral vision. All the generators, again, that are appearing white are the ones that are locked out. Any ones that are appearing red, that means there is still a person, at least one person, still working on that generator. So then once you do hook the person, you'll be able to go to that specific generator. Now, this is I feel it's an ability or a perk that really works well towards the end of a match when there's only a couple generators left, because you can be observant, but even me, without Deer Stalker, I'm still decent at finding the person that I downed, right? If you leave the area, you kind of just have to really put it in the back of your mind, like, oh, okay, I knocked this person down close to this thing, and you got to remember that. So there's a lot of memorization going on at any given time in Dead by Daylight. But if there's like 6, 7, 8 generators around you and you're hooking this person, I don't know if you're going to be able to remember and notice which ones are being worked on, which ones aren't. And then once you hook the person, they all turn red again. So if you're not paying attention, you may forget even if there's a couple generators in the same spot or same area of the map, you may forget which one was the one that's actually being worked on. So it's a little tough, I feel like, for people that don't have the greatest memory or aren't focusing too much on it. It really still is a very powerful perk, and and it really will help you out towards the end of the map. If there's only 3-4 generators left in general, and they're kind of all spaced out, you will definitely be able to know if somebody is working on them. But when there's like a full map worth of generators, it's a lot harder to keep track of. Still, this is, in my opinion, the best perk that Ghostface has, and again, one that I used in the beginning, and I probably still will use once I have even all 4 perks, and I'm able to put you know, my combination that I really like to use. I still think I'll use this. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think about my tips and tricks for Ghostface? Do you have any tips and tricks of your own how to use him? Again, this is just day 1. He could get completely destroyed. You know, that buff that he was given could be taken away, and he could become a very, very weak killer. This is just all based off of day 1 of me playing as Ghostface. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. We do these tips and tricks, and we also live stream the new killers in Dead by Daylight every single time they come out. So when the next killer does come out, we will of course live stream it and have another tips and tricks video. So if you guys like Dead by Daylight and you like that stuff, make sure you stay tuned to the channel. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video.